And now, backstage he pitched Dennis a sequel to Breaking Away, but with unicycles. Adam Carolla.
Yeah, get it on. Got to get it on. I'm just thinking a minute, get it on. Just so you know, the reference, the joke, Breaking Away was a bike race, and I ride a unicycle. This isn't our normal crowd here tonight, but we just got done watching the Ronald Reagan trailer that Dennis Quaid is starring in. It looked good, right? Very solid. Today is, I'm told Ronald Reagan would have been his 111th birthday today. But let me say this. I think we need to stop celebrating people's birthdays if they would have died of natural causes by now anyway. Because otherwise we'd never be able to get through our day. It'd be like Neville Chamberlain would have been 146 today. Julius Caesar would be 1,300 years old today. Like, you'd never make it through your day. You'd have to stop and celebrate every human being that was ever born before you. Dennis brought his, he's got a bulldog. He's got a bulldog. It is a beautiful bulldog. Peaches the bulldog. Bulldogs, when I was growing up, bulldogs were scary. Did you guys watch like Tom and Jerry and all the cartoons? There was a bulldog. He wore a chain. He had huge fangs. He'd F up anybody who got near him. Peaches dry humped my leg and then hyperventilated and had to lay down. I like bulldogs, but when it comes to breeding dogs, when we get to the point where they can't breathe on their own, we should stop. Right when the animal goes, I cannot breathe on my own, then we should probably, grab a mutt from the rescue and get him to hump, and kick something else in. But Peaches also has sleep apnea because Peaches fell asleep, tired from humping my shin, then passed out 4 feet from Dennis and I, and then just sawing logs all night. You got to get that Peaches a breathe right, Dennis. Something. I don't know what to do. Shape it like a bone, We'll do breathe rights for bulldogs. You stick it on there because I don't know how, you must be a heavy sleeper or a heavy drinker or something because I could
think you must have some remarkable shin.
I wore that dog out. I do have sensual shins. I mean, obviously it's known. You guys have read my wiki. I made a couple of notes here. I want to talk about also Dennis and I took pictures with many of you today, which Dennis enjoyed, but it was a novelty for him. For me, the bloom is off the rose. You guys tell me, what is etiquette when there's a long line of people that want to take a picture with you, and the job is to come up and to sidle in between Dennis and I and get that picture, except for you're facing Dennis and I, and you never turn around. Now, what is my job? What is my role as the person who's facing you while the camera faces your ass crack? Do I do that move like when you have some broccoli on your lip and you're eating with somebody and you kind of scratch your own lip, where I just start slowly turning myself? Do I put my hand on top of your head and start spinning you around like a dreidel? What is the move? And by the way, if you ever find yourself being guided, you've done something wrong. When Dennis Quaid's arm goes onto your upper arm and then he starts turning you 90 degrees and you hear that backup beeper, that means you've done something wrong in this process. Did you guys see Gavin Newsom? I know we're all big fans. While I was waiting up in the library, I read 7 of his books. I was thinking about it. I was shouting about it on another podcast I did with Mark Garagos the other day, which was Gavin. So everyone's up Gavin Newsom's ass because he takes all these pictures without the mask, right? So he tells all of us we need to wear the mask. No mask here tonight, by the way. Weird that we've all become heroes for not wearing masks in a library. All right, but he has made the mask mandate. And by the way, pardon me for a second, but like when you're a governor of some red state and then you say no mask mandates, CNN, that's not a no mask mandate. That's just nothing, you idiots. You idiots don't even understand freedom. You don't understand the concept of do what you want to do. Would you like to go to school with a mask or without a mask? Would you like to go into a restaurant with one or without one? That's not an anti-mask mandate. That's just nothing. This country was built on nothing, people. The great Ronald Reagan ensured a legacy of nothing for our children. At this point, nothing would be a huge step up, right? Can we just get back to nothing? Just 0. I'd be at 0. It'd be like, oh, I got a roommate who doesn't do his dishes, but he stopped raping me. We're back to 0. And I couldn't be happier. So I just want to get to 0 in California, right? I don't need a bullet train. I don't need schools with more than 2 stories. I just need nothing at this point. I just need to be able to go about my life and have nothing. But Gavin Newsom's got a mask mandate, and he takes photographs with the mask off. And then he really gets into the nuts and the bolts of the science, and I'm not a virologist, but he has a mask in his hand, and according to him, that's enough. You know what I mean? Like what you do with a rosary, you know? You don't eat the rosary. You rub it for luck. It's a viral luck rosary that he rubs, and then he tells us that we all have to mask up again because he's so judicious about him holding it. I don't know if anyone's gotten COVID in their palm before, but there's no chance Gavin Newsom's going to get it in one of his hands. But what I was yelling about is he doesn't believe it, and that's the problem. The problem is, he's a hypocrite. He's going to the French Laundry. He's going to SoFi Stadium. He's hanging out with Magic Johnson. He's taking pictures. He's got the thing down on the Jumbotron. Fine. He doesn't believe it. He does not believe in the science of wearing a mask. He doesn't believe it. If he believed it, he would wear it. And I said, Ben Shapiro. Ben, I know you guys don't like Jews, but hear me out. Well, come on. I've sized up the crowd. Yeah, look, no one's racist. You're just set in your ways. I get it. Understood. Ben Shapiro goes nowhere without a yarmulke. The yarmulke's on his head 24/7. He swims in a lap pool with his yarmulke on every morning. He takes a shower with the yarmulke on. If he took an MRI, he would have his yarmulke on because Ben Shapiro believes. He's religious. He's devout. He believes in the yarmulke. He's not there to make you believe he believes in the yarmulke like Gavin Newsom is with the mask. That's what he wants. It's not like Ben Shapiro. Like you see Ben Shapiro and you come walking in, he goes, oh shit, where's my yarmulke? Oh, there you go. Woo! Big win. Big win. Look, you come in at night and Ben Shapiro's using his yarmulke as a coaster and has a Heineken on it. He's devout. He believes. Gavin Newsom sells used RVs he doesn't believe in. The mask, the yarmulke, they're the same size. Yarmulke, I bet you if I put a rubber band on a yarmulke, it'd be just as effective. If I took a 6-hour flight and wore a yarmulke strapped to my face, statistically I would have the exact same chance of getting COVID as being double masked. But Ben Shapiro believes and Gavin Newsom's a goddamn liar. That's all you need to know. All right. Should we bring the great Dennis Quaid up here? And bald Bryan up here? And Gina Grad up here? Pick up a microphone, my friend. All right. We're going to play the Rotten Tomatoes game at some point. We got the news coming up. We'll do Unprepared as well. I'm such a huge fan of Dennis's. I think I've seen 87% of your movies.
Probably so.
How many?
The seniors, did you see that?
No, I missed that one. What did you? How many movies have you done?
Over 100.
Over 100.
Over 100.
And now, sorry, but how many?
I quit counting after that
Understood.
because it's like your joke about natural causes. You know what I mean?
How many not in the gay porn genre? Let's back out the three. A baker's dozen? What?
Baker's dozen.
Like your no mask mandate thing, those are just movies.
Oh, okay.
Just one. It was kind of a token movie for me.
Understood.
You know?
Everybody gets their foot in the door a certain way.
That's right. So,
whatever.
How did the Reagan? So let's talk about that process of playing Ronald Reagan because there's a lot of footage of Ronald Reagan. I mean, people know. You know, you want to play Abe Lincoln, you can kind of take some license with that.
But they're all still pictures.
Right.
And there's no voice there either.
We don't have that of Abe Lincoln,
Yeah.
but Ron Reagan we do, or Ronald.
Yes.
And so how'd you go about that?
Well, it sure helped out a lot, that's for sure, because I had, 3 years to prepare for this, Mark? That's from the first meeting that we had. And so I just looked at all the footage that there was there. Plus, I lived with Ronald Reagan. You know, he was like it was like my third time that I got to vote, and I got to vote for. It was the first time I actually really wanted to vote, actually, and I voted for Ron Reagan back in '80, and I had a roommate who was like a ex-hippie, and. Came back to the apartment and he says, "Who'd you vote for?" I said, "Ronald Reagan." He said, "You were kicked out of the hippies." That's what he said.
Exiled.
Yeah.
And so you studied it and you were learning the dialect and the voice.
Yeah, like Mark said, I didn't want to do like an impersonation of him. You know, it's because acting for me was, and especially I played a lot of real people is. I feel like I have a responsibility to them, and I want to tell the story from their point of view.
5 years from today, Ronald Reagan would have been 116 years old. So mark your calendar. Kurt Cobain would have been 61 4 years from now. River Phoenix would have been 57 18 months from now. So just, if you could, just kind of put that into your phone. It's a slippery slope. Yes, Brian.
As an actor, where's that internal line between you're doing an impression and you're doing a performance? You know what I mean? You must have toyed with the voice, probably in your bedroom or bathroom? Where do you draw that line?
Well, it's about learning all the stuff that's on the outside. You know, like one way in, as I watched the footage, I noticed that Ronald Reagan had his kind of a crooked smooth.
The crooked
And that was, there's a reason behind that. It's either emotional or physical, but there's a reason the way we hold our faces and what, it's our story is written on our face and in our bodies, and so there's something about that, and it's some things are that we have that we use as defenses or masks or whatever, put on a face to the world, and he was just he was very much who he was. But when I went to the Reagan Ranch, that's when it really hit me, because I went up there having heard about it all my life, and you get up there and this road, if you can call it a road, to get up there is wow. And then you get up there and you come up on point of that open vista after going through the trees, and you realize that Ronald Reagan was not a rich man. He was also, you can see he was a humble man, and how much humility he had that in there, and simple, really simple, rock solid beliefs, and you could see it in the way that he shaped that place.
I saw Air Force One in Simi Valley, and it was a letdown.
Indeed.
I've got to be honest. Don't ever do. There's two things. Don't go and do Air Force One in Simi Valley in the Reagan Museum, and never walk up on the Batmobile. You will be devastated. You'll be let down and devastated.
And
Jennifer Lopez's plane beats it.
Oh, yeah.
From a technological standpoint.
Oh, my God. Yeah. So the ranch was just as he left it?
Yeah, very much as he left it. The bookshelf is the main thing that when you come into the house that really captures you, because it's every book from his life, all the way back. And the house itself is maybe 1,200, 1,500 square feet. It's a one-bedroom house, basically. And they had a king-size bed, but it was two single beds that were zip-tied together.
Yeah.
They still have the TV controller. It's from, like, the 60s, like a prong, that thing, with instructions from Nancy in there about how to operate it and get it to work. And their clothes still being in the closet.
Really?
Just like, you feel like they left and they're coming back shortly. And then the Liberty Bell shower head.
There's a Liberty Bell shower?
There's a Liberty Bell shower head.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know they sold those.
Well,
They don't.
they don't anymore.
They
And
don't. He made one?
There's opportunity knocking there. And not to forget, too, the Westinghouse appliances.
Oh, old school, like avocado.
Yeah, well,
cream.
he was the
Westinghouse
Westinghouse is what, springboarded him into a political career, actually. And, he stuck with them.
Now, I've had the Declaration of Independence loofah in my shower, but this Liberty Bell shower head, even I, as obviously the great patriot I am, with my Declaration of Independence loofah.
You have to start selling as a bundle.
Yeah, I'm going to start
Bundle
adding
it.
that on. That's right. He did all those commercials. He was with, Chevrolet, too, as well?
Well, he did a lot.
Or am I thinking Pat?
I remember Boraxo. Borax soap.
We don't
That's
need
right.
that in this country anymore,
Yeah.
sadly.
Full mule team borax.
I used to see every third commercial I saw when I was a kid as some guy with greasy, grimy hands scrubbing away because he worked. Now he's on his phone. He's writing some shitty tweet about me. No reason to get the Boraxo out anymore. we had such a problem with grime. We had soap made of lava. Lava soap. It actually has bits of lava in it because hot water and soap aren't enough to take all this hard work out of your hands with crushed lava rock in it. It was like everything was like, oh, God, all day, every day, grease and grime.
Nowadays, you got pods. Just toss a pod in there.
Yeah,
And don't
toss
eat it.
the pod in,
Or
get a little
eat it,
Purell. It's not a thing. There's no grease or grime anymore. There's a lot where everyone's cuticles are pristine.
All we got now is Peaches.
All we got is Peaches, the dog who stopped breathing 14 minutes ago up in the green room. I didn't want to bum you out before the show.
I have an alert monitor on me. Don't worry about it.
You talked about once we get to the point where they can't breathe on their own, maybe it's time to step back. Another piece of evidence that these are not God's creatures, they can't reproduce on their own.
No, they can't.
Oh, they can't?
No, they got to be artificially inseminated.
Tried like hell on my shin. Seem to be doing a whale of a job.
But she's a girl, and so it was kind of
really?
backwards.
Okay. I've never had that. I've never had a female approach
They have
me.
needs, too.
They do. I hadn't heard.
They do.
Or I've never met any of them.
Yeah.
Oh, Peaches is okay. Well, now I've kind of come around.
They said that it's a dominance thing, but I don't believe that for a second.
Oh, you mean
I think it's just a good time thing.
Yeah, listen, it's not I'll tell you where the dominance part comes in. I'm going to take a hot dump on the neighbor's lawn. Hey, bitch, bag it and tag it. Go, pick it up. Pick it up before the prying eyes. Cast judgment on it. And I'm thinking, you know what? I've saved half a Duke. I think maybe in another 100 yards I may pinch another loaf. Remember, dance, boy. Pick up my dookie. Oh, you only brought one bag. Well, it's embarrassing for you.
Better find a leaf.
Yeah. Find yourself a nice big leaf and a little humility. Take care of my business. That's the ultimate in dominance. Yeah. You know what I mean? I mean, Gina, you can hump my leg all you wanted.
Thank you very much.
But you drop a deuce on stage and then wait for me to clean it up. That means you're in charge.
Then we know who's boss.
Then we really know who's the boss. But the dog is good because the dog has been indoors for 2.5 hours now. I mean, there's no cock-a-pee-pee.
Nope.
What did you do?
Not that I know of.
Are they not bred to go to the bathroom? They just explode on their 7th year?
Well, let's just say I'm very tuned in to Peaches.
You're very tuned in.
Yes.
And you know
Yes.
when it's time to go.
Yes.
Okay.
You put out that kibble or that dehydrated food or whatever it is, and then you just wait 5 minutes, and then
that's when it's
right on cue.
Okay.
Wow.
So you've got her algorithms down. Tell us about a dog that you used to have that's now dead. Everyone has a story. And by the way, can I say this? When I'm talking about my dead dog that's better than your dead dog, I don't need you chiming in halfway into my dead dog story. Tell me how great Russ was. You're stealing my dead dog thunder. Every time you talk about a dead dog, someone has to jump in. I had a Malamute that died. Yeah, I get it. I'm telling my story about my dog. Do you have a dog? Did you have to put him down?
Yes, but it's going to get really depressing here, so I'd rather not, except for that I had to put Dave down, and I held him while they, gave him the shot. He was like 16, but then that was down in Orange County where we, tried to save him, and I had to drive him all the way back up to West L.A., and he farted the entire time.
Oh, yeah.
Coming up there. Gas coming out,
God, I understand.
It was one last little joke.
Yeah. Yeah. Cracked the window, but he couldn't get his head out of it, could he? He was gone.
No, he was dead.
He was dead.
He was
dead.
And gas was escaping
no!
his body.
I didn't see that
The
guy.
methane was coming out.
Wait,
They made you take him with you?
you still had the
It made
body?
me laugh.
Oh, no.
Did you cremate them and put them in a box?
Yeah. Yes, I have 4 dogs.
In a box?
And yeah.
How many
Their
of
ashes
those
in a box.
boxes have Peaches violated sexually?
None, because they're locked away. Yeah.
Okay. Smart. Not sure. I got a dog named Molly, and I got a box and the cremation thing too. But it's unclear what we do with these boxes once we go somewhere. You know, do we bequeath the box to the kids? And now you got a box of ashes from a dog you can't really remember from 41 years ago.
Yeah.
How about we do a little scattered over the open
That's
sea?
what I was going to
know?
say. Take it to her favorite places. Put her back where she loved being.
Or a Viking funeral.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Set it aflame.
I think we go Neptune Society.
Yeah.
We got to have a few members here tonight. I've sized up the crowd. There's a couple that are in that demo. All right. You want to play the Rotten Tomatoes game?
Yes, sir.
Please.
All right. I will explain. These are movies. They have a score on the website, Rotten Tomatoes. It is the critics' score. It's not the audience score. It's the score of the critics. And we shall guess to see who is closest to that score. And much like golf, whoever has the lowest score at the end of the 5 movies, they win the tournament.
And Price is Right style, we're happy to take suggestions from the audience. Feel free to scream.
Oh, and if you get the number dead nuts on, you get a 5-point deduction. Okay, here we go.
Listen to that noise. That's a high falsetto voice. That can only mean one thing, and you can feel it.
Oh, yeah. No.
And the game makes their picks, guessing if it's rotten or fresh. If they guess it exactly, we'll get a bonus 5. It's the Rotten Tomatoes game. You know how we do it. Give me the Rotten Tomatoes game. Now it's time to play it.
Well, today we are joined by one of Hollywood's most talented and versatile actors, Mr. Dennis Quaid. So we thought it would be fitting to dedicate an entire round of the Rotten Tomatoes game to the movies of Kevin Costner. I'm kidding. These are all Dennis Quaid movies. Every single movie stars Dennis Quaid. In our first film, Dennis plays Jim Morris, a high school science teacher who eventually makes his Major League Baseball debut at the ripe age of 35. Based on a true story, this heartwarming sports drama co-stars Rachel Griffiths, Jay Hernandez, and Brian Cox. From 2002, The Rookie.
Brian Cox is a great actor. We were just talking about him in Manhunter. And I love that scene where you're throwing the ball by the radar detector out on the highway. It's a fun movie. Now, critics sometimes can be a little tough on sports movies. There's been a lot of good baseball movies.
Dennis, was this a Disney movie?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Straight up.
And
None of that touchstone stuff.
Okay.
Straight up.
very likable movie.
But critics don't like likable movies.
I know, and it's family oriented, and you always deduct a little sports, family oriented, all that kind of stuff. You guys locked in?
Hold on.
I normally would be in the mid-30s with this movie, but because Dennis is sitting so close to me, I want 72.
All right. I said very close, 73.
71.
What?
I said 15.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The Rookie.
That's because I never read the critics.
Good.
Oh, yeah. But get that mic up to the soup cooler.
All right.
There we go.
I said 15.
The
15.
Rookie is certified fresh at 84%.
Whoa! That's a high damn score.
Damn. Mazel
Good
tov.
score.
6 months after 1941's attack on Pearl Harbor, the Battle of Midway commences, becoming one of the most important and decisive battles of World War II. Dennis plays Vice Admiral William Bull Halsey, alongside an all-star cast including Patrick Wilson, Woody Harrelson, Joe Jonas, and Mandy Moore, in Roland Emmerich's 2019 film, Midway.
I think Woody's hairpiece was nominated. Saw this film in the theater. Brought my young son. I think this was right before everything started closing down, right? As I recall.
It's 2019.
Yeah.
I said a little bit before.
No, I'm just saying
It must
it
have
was
been
right
the
around
end of 2019. I'm trying to think because I
remember.
kind of remember one of the last movies I saw in the theater. Anyway, good movie. Critics didn't like it. Not sure why.
Are
But
you having fun, Dennis?
I'm having a blast. I mean, if you're not talking about me, then talk about my movies. That's the way I look at it.
I think the critics didn't like it. Are we locked in?
Yes.
Yep.
I got 41.
Oh, once again, we're 1 point off, 40.
Come on.
I went with the same as the election results, 49.9.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I believe in Dennis and I believe in this movie. 61, fresh.
Midway is rotten
Boo.
at 42%.
Look at us.
Oh.
Spun out.
It does have an audience score of 92% on the tomato.
They didn't like us bombing all those Japanese carriers, so we had to do a big deduction there.
This next film has been described as a manic,
It was
overstuffed.
patriotic.
Yeah.
This next film has been described as a manic, overstuffed blend of sci-fi, comedy, and romance.
Oh, boy.
Dennis plays Lieutenant Tuck Pendleton,
Oh, yeah.
alongside Martin Short, Meg Ryan, and Kevin McCarthy, winning the Academy Award for Best Visual Effects, the 1987 film Inner Space.
This was a triumph.
I was going to say, Dennis, Gina and I have bonded over this movie in the past
Yes.
many times because as children, we saw this many times.
I have been in the far corners of India, the outback, and I have heard Inner Space.
Yeah. That was me.
Yeah. It is probably the most popular worldwide movie that I've ever done.
It's great.
I was on a canoe on the Nile, and nobody said jack squat about the Man Show, ever. So we all have our stories, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, what do you? It sounds like you're jumping on my doc story now. I get too, by the way. But anyway, the movie came out. It bombed.
It did.
Yes.
And then what? It found its audience
Nobody went to see it.
on VHS.
Everyone
rental or
thought
something?
it was a science fiction movie because it looked like a laboratory. The poster for it.
Right.
It didn't say comedy on it.
It had Tron elements.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was the perfect time for VHS, home
Yes.
rental. It was 87.
Right.
It was a big hit.
But
Is
it
that where you
became a
guys
huge
saw
hit.
it?
Oh, yeah, dude. We rented the shit out of the
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big sleepover movie.
From beta to VHS to C.
Yeah.
It was big.
All right.
All right.
Break
Yeah.
my heart.
But where are the
Okay.
critics?
The critics.
Where are the critics? All right. Oh boy, I gotta revise.
It's too low. I can't.
I can't do this. All right, you guys in?
Yep.
It was a great romp and a great film. Critics are tough. 53.
I went a little higher, went with my heart. Martin Short is legitimately hilarious in that movie. Physical comedy, 75.
I believe it's 75. I believe it's 85. I thought, you said it wasn't well received because nobody got it. So, I've been going a little high. Please forgive me, Dennis. I love this movie. 27?
Oh,
20.
no.
What?
Wow.
You said it bombed!
Well, I said 38, so it's
Oh, no.
Inner Space is certified fresh
Yes!
at 82%.
As it should be!
Oh, boy.
Next up, we have a biographical film about a man's rise to rock and roll stardom. Right up to his controversial marriage to his 13-year-old cousin. Spoiler alert, this ultimately leads to his downfall. Dennis stars alongside Winona Ryder and Alec Baldwin from 1989, Great Balls of Fire.
You must get recognized for this constantly.
Oh, yeah. I had a great time on that movie, so they tell me.
Dennis is quite the musician, by the way. I've seen him perform on his cul-de-sac. He had a cul-de-sac party. When you're poor, it's a dead end. When you're rich, it's a cul-de-sac. And he and his band was performing, and Dennis was pounding away on the keyboards, the guitar, as well. I mean,
with Robbie Krieger. Robbie
Krieger was there. So what was that part of getting that role, like wanting to play? Did you play the piano back then?
I didn't play before that, no, but I had a year to prepare for it as I was at the piano for 12 hours a day.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's back when I was on cocaine, so it's like kind of easy to do back then. I wouldn't recommend it.
They talk about how evil cocaine is and how
It's
medicinal pot is, but when you're high, you spend 8 minutes on the piano and you're like, I'm going to go play video games. Coke, you're there all night.
You're committed.
You really commit. All the greats were cokeheads. So you got high on coke and you practiced for 12 hours a day.
Yes.
For a year.
For a year. Did the movie, and it came out, and I was in rehab 6 months later.
But that, were you really
Coke free from then on. Except for regular Coke, none of this Coke Zero.
Yeah. It's all regular Coke and fentanyl now. Do you actually remember, like, being high, like doing the movie, like
Oh, yeah.
Blur?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, I do. Yeah, that's the trouble. I remember everything, actually. So, don't want to go there again.
Did you hang out with Jerry Lee?
Jerry Lee was actually one of my piano teachers, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, very generous. And he's very generous. Then he could also be like a 14-year-old schoolyard bully sometimes. Mm-hmm. But Jerry, in life, he would, like he came into the Peabody Hotel, into the bar there, and he walks around, and Jerry has a pint bottle of Seagram 7 in this pocket, and in this pocket he has a 38. So everybody was always really nice to Jerry.
Yeah. Jerry's like, I'd like you to meet my wife for 25 years. She's 34. Also, he's got to be careful about which pocket he reaches for. You know what I mean? That celebration could turn quick. Wow, so Jerry Lee was teaching you how to play the piano back then.
And while we were shooting, it was at the set every day that we were performing, doing music stuff. And it'd be over my shoulder going, "You getting it wrong, son." That's all I'd hear.
That's all you hear. Yeah. I don't know, I think booze makes you a better piano player. Certainly, you approach it with more gusto. Not nuance, but gusto, which is the way he approached it, right?
Yeah, well, he's just a great piano player, period.
Was he really? I mean, was he really technically strong?
He's the best piano player I've ever seen. I mean, the guy was dedicated to it. I saw him sit at the piano for 12 hours without going to the bathroom. I mean, he could just sit there and do it and grind, do it all day. It's an athletic thing, that left hand that he's got.
Yeah, interesting.
It's something, I'd compare him to any concert pianist.
I know you're left-handed as well, right?
Yes.
I saw you signing a baseball with your left hand.
Yes.
I'm left-handed.
So is Gina.
I'm also a Gemini. And I think that's where I get my tenacity,
So Sounds like it.
Left-handed. I like whenever someone compliments you on being left-handed, it means they're left-handed because people that are right-handed don't give a shit about you and your left hand. So if anyone ever says anything, it means they're left-handed. And they're always like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, you're left-handed, and that makes you a narcissist because you won't shut up about it. All right, Jerry,
Great Balls of
Fire. And I forgot Alec Baldwin was in this film.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Jimmy Swaggart.
All right. They look. The critics love this one, right?
No idea.
Can't remember.
No idea.
You said they didn't like Inner Space, and they did.
Yeah, you really
a
did
lot.
me on that one.
All right. Now this is tough because you weren't playing a supporting role. So if the critics don't like this one, it's an indictment on your soul. It's not just you. It's everything you've ever stood for.
Ugh. I just assume they don't like anything. So
All right. I'm going 68%.
Oh, really close. 61.
90.
I said 45. So
Great Balls of Fire is certified fresh
Oh, no.
at 83%.
Gina.
we had some smart critics back there in 1989. I guess different than today.
And in our last film, Dennis plays the father of a young Lindsay Lohan and a young Lindsay Lohan. Directed and co-written by Nancy Myers, this remake features young identical twins who reconnect after being separated at birth with hopes of bringing their divorced parents back together. Co-starring Natasha Richardson from 1998, The Parent Trap.
This is a really good remake. And a lot of us, I'm sure, like, die hard on the original. So you think, oh, I don't ever want to. No. This is a great remake. Yeah.
Did you know at the time she was destined for greatness?
Yeah, when I met she was the most talented kid
Lindsay.
I've ever worked with. One of the most talented people.
Really?
I mean, she did those accents like, she's from New York, in the Bronx. She would just go zip and just fall right into the character. I thought there were two kids playing the role. That's how.
Really?
That's how,
That good?
Yeah, that good it was.
A lot of Coke.
I wasn't on coke then.
I'm messing
It was
around.
Talking
after.
about Lindsay.
Talk about Lindsay.
All right.
She was
Now,
13.
look,
She was so talented.
Brian's got a little lead, but Gina and I are within striking distance. And this was a good movie, but critics don't like these kinds of movies
But
sometimes.
if it's couched as a family film, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all know what to expect. It's The Parent Trap.
It's a Disney movie.
All right.
go.
All right.
Straight up.
All right. All right. I didn't see this one because I have pubic hair and a phallus,
Prove it.
and I was. What year was this?
98.
Yeah, I was too old at this time.
1998.
I labeled this folly. Too old for me. I'm too old for it. All right. Oh, did they like it? I don't know what to do here. All right. Barely rotten at 59.
Oh, my. 78%.
75.
I'm going to say 99.
The Parent Trap is certified fresh
Please say 99.
at 86.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I just knocked myself right out of that
We're all
ballgame.
winners.
I guess they had 14 Adam Carollas on there.
Would you like to hear some scores?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gina Grad, congratulations, you made the podium.
Thank you.
For those of you who aren't watching, the Olympics is the podium is the gold, silver, and bronze, just so you remember. Gina,
Silver
you're
and
firmly
bronze.
on there.
Silver and bronze, same height. Don't we got to put an end to that? Same height. Throw tape on it. Silver and bronze, same height. Doesn't make sense in this podcast.
Dennis Quaid, you have received one of the highest scores ever in the Rotten Tomatoes game.
That's not good.
That is not good.
No.
Your
That's good.
score-
I think that's actually really good.
It worked out well.
Because those that can't become critics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy's still doing it.
Well, your winning score of 171 places you firmly in fourth place. Adam Carolla came in strong.
Ish.
Not really.
Nah, faded.
But your solid score of 84 puts you in either first, second, or third place. Back to Gina Grad. Is it a score or is it a fever? It's 105,
This was tough.
leaving us the man with no hair.
That's right.
He has to compensate some ways, and usually it's by winning this game.
That's how we do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, a champion to all but a friend to none. The winner of today's Rotten Tomatoes game with a score of 50,
Oh!
Bald Bryan.
Yeah.
Well done.
Rotten Tomatoes game. You know how we do it.
I want to dedicate this win to the memory of Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
Happy birthday,
Would have been
Mr. President.
117 6 years from now on this day, 2028. Bald Bryan, tell this partisan crowd what your lowest score ever was on the Rotten. Documented, charted, in the books, a sanctioned Rotten Tomatoes game. Remember, lowest score being the best. What was your lowest score?
So Adam mentioned that if you get the number right on, you get that 5-point deduction, and it's always 5 movies, right? Every time I play this game, it's 5 movies. And I inexplicably, I still don't know how I did it, swear to God, got the first 4 movies dead on for a score of minus 20. And the 5th movie, I was off by 4 points for a minus 16.
Minus 16.
I appreciate you letting me brag about that. That rarely comes up.
I'm just tired of talking for a minute.
I mean, that's isn't that
Buy
some kind
myself
of Mensa
some time.
category or something?
Minus
My-
16, like you would think 0 would be the perfect score. Nope, he won minus 16. All right, should we do a little news with Gina Grad,
Let's
Bob
do
Bryan,
it.
and Dennis Quaid?
Give me the news with Grad, news with Gino Grad, breaking viral, weird crime, protest, politics. Give me news with Gina Grad, stuff they saw on TMZ, Joe Biden, Kamala. Big news with Gina Grad. The news with Gina Grad.
All right, I'm just going to coach you up really quickly so this story means as much to you as it will to Adam. For many, many, many years, Adam has been crowing about how we need to start using crows and attack crows to, get involved with the community and with security because they're coming from above
They're
and they can do a lot of
geniuses.
damage. Yeah, they're smart.
They're smart, they're angry, they're everything you want in a watch crow. And they land on your head. So I've been saying for years we need to train attack crows and have them, look, every 10 minutes there's some junkie in the middle of the street. He's got his pants around his ankles. He's swinging around a sprinkler key. The cop's got the beanbag, bazooka, and the rubber bullets and the taser. Another guy's got his piece out. Someone's going to get shot. We want him to drop the machete, attack crow, right in the head. Machete drop, zip ties on, right to the who scalp.
So we've been laughing about this for years, but people are starting to catch on, and I'm sure this is very vindicating to hear that crows are being recruited to pick up discarded cigarette butts from the streets in a Swedish city as part of a cost-cutting drive. The Guardian reports that the wild birds carry out tasks and they receive a little food for every butt that they deposit in this machine. The Keep Sweden Tidy Foundation says that more than 1 billion cigarette butts are left on Sweden's streets every year. That's representing like 62% of the litter. Experts estimate this method could save at least 75% of costs involved with picking up cigarette butts in the city.
Well, cigarette butts, in terms of litter, they're the toughest nut to crack. You can't stab it with the stick with the nail on it. It's always grody. It's in the gutter. It's down there. It's all wet. It's got kissing potion on it, or chapstick, or something weird. But the crows will do that all day long.
That's true.
And they'll train them to pick it up. They'll trade it for a Cheerio. I could never get my son to do that. I couldn't train my son. Could you train your son to pick up a cigarette butt and get a Cheerio?
Not for a Cheerio.
He'd be like, F you, old man.
No.
You're not the boss of me.
Maybe some sugar pops.
Not Cheerio. So for nothing, you train these things, and they just fly around and clean stuff up.
That's right.
But then I never really thought about this. But then is there going to be a situation where some guy's smoking, like, out front of the restaurant? There's a bunch of crows,
it's a
like,
hungry crow
hanging out, going, "You done with that?" So I'm not done with it yet. Well,
I think you are. I think you are.
I think you're done. No, I got a few more drags left on this thing. Jesus Christ, let me put it out. Let me just take it now.
What's the difference?
Smokers would have to start traveling with a pocket full of Cheerios, because every time they lit up, the crows would come bugging them, and they go, "Oh, okay, fine, I got you there.
Rolling
you
up.
happy? Let me finish I come out to relax. I don't need this." Because it would be the next step, right?
Oh, you're right. They're going to start ganging up on
Crows are going to start
smokers.
stealing packs
Yeah.
of cigarettes. And, the guys are going to be selling loosies on the street,
Yeah.
and the crows are going to start grabbing them and busting the filter off and cashing it in for Cheerios.
They don't call us a murder for nothing.
That's right.
Speaking of next steps, we can't do this here in California. Someone's going to say the crows are exploited workers and working for Cheerios. That's never going to work.
Oh, they're getting black wing, lung, something.
They have lungs.
Yeah, there's a class action suit.
Yep.
Some old gypsy lady says she represents the crows. Yeah, we couldn't. People would be too upset here. They wouldn't let crows. Oh, and here and then eventually the crows would form a union.
Yep.
And it'd be bilking Sacramento,
Swaying elections.
Yeah.
swaying elections.
You got the crows on your side.
Big Crow would be in your hip pocket. You couldn't win an election without Big Crow.
There's always a backlash, though.
There's a backlash to Big Crow.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it, but once they take control of the purse strings of Sacramento, and then they become our overlords, I've rethunk this whole thing. But
Bigger than the mask mandate, you think?
on par. You've seen that crow that solves a puzzle on the computer. They're dropping the round peg in on the round hole and the hexagonal one on the hexagonal one, and it's like they solve problems. They're smart. They're mean. They're if you want to work, if you want to study crows, I think it was a Stanford. Some doctors in Stanford wanted to study crows, and they had to go get to the crow's nest, get the eggs out or get the chicks out. They recognized their faces and started attacking them, so they had to go out there, probably like Point Break with a Ronald Reagan mask on.
That's right.
21 years from now, he'd be 137 years old. Sorry, go ahead, Jim.
All right. Well, according to government officials in Arizona, the state has collected more than $196 million in taxes from the state, and that's all from marijuana sales. That means people there purchased more than $1.2 billion worth of marijuana, about $700 billion for medical purposes and $500 billion for recreational. And most of that tax revenue will be spent to help fund education, so they say.
What? By the way, does it ever work, the funding of... There's two things that never work. The funding of education and, 7 cents from every gallon of gas sold is going toward the roads you drive. It's always a shit show.
They somehow get worse.
Kids always get dumber and roads get more potholes. It just somehow we can't figure out a way to take money and put it into something. But whenever... it is kind of interesting because they whenever it's like something like pot, they go like, "Hey, you want to sell pot?" And they go, "Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're gonna sanction it. The government's gonna sanction it. The state's gonna sanction it." And then someone goes, "Whoa, I don't know if I like the idea of the government selling drugs." No, the money's going to the kids. And then you go, "Oh, okay, I'm with it." Like if they said all the money from selling the pot is going to these really cool suede hats that I'm going to give out to everyone so they know we're players, everyone will go F that.
Right.
But you can shut them up. Like you can go, "I say we legalize child prostitution."
Well, no one's going to be in favor of that.
The money's going to the schools.
Oh,
I don't like it. I love it.
You said it, honey.
Remember my idea about using live puppies and air cannons to test metallurgy on jet engines?
Yeah, we were not for that.
That's disgusting.
Money's going to the schools, people.
Hold on.
Well, yeah, now you've got
Let
me
him
intrigued.
speak.
Remember I was talking about human trafficking out of Tijuana?
Yeah, very
You guys
much
got on your
against
high
that.
horses,
Well,
but
never
that's
do
how they
that.
really generate a lot of money because a lot of those guys have a lot of extra income.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
that's horrible.
Money's
ill-gotten
going to the
gains.
schools.
Oh, okay.
So let's just
Tell me more.
let's get this paperwork done.
Well, it's like you've mentioned so many times about legal gambling, the lottery.
Yes.
Where I think that goes to school.
The lottery's going to, yeah, right. Gambling, drugs, yeah, it's going to schools. Except for, I've lived in LA my entire life, and I was there before the lottery, and the schools were a fair bit better before the lottery, and now we have the lottery, and they're a fair bit worse with the lottery. So I'm not really doing the math. But I always find it ironic that the money from the lottery is going to the schools, because if there was ever a school counselor that talked to their 11th grader and just went, "I'm out of ideas, you got to play the lottery, dude, because that's the only way out for you," that guy would be fired. So it's a weird connection between the lottery and schools, because the school is essentially the opposite of the lottery. The lottery is hang out and smoke menthol cigarettes and drink beer out of a can and hope that God smiles on you and wins this lottery for you. And the school is all about train, study, rehearse, do a couple of rails, practice the piano for 12 hours at a time. It's all about diligence.
Whatever happened to the idea that our school taxes actually go pay for the schools? I mean, it worked when I was growing up. Why doesn't it work anymore?
I don't know, and I've never signed off on the straight line between money and successful education. I mean, first off, people went to school in one-room schoolhouses. They read by candlelight at night. They wrote with a quill, a ballpoint quill, but a quill nonetheless. The point is like this notion of like we just keep funneling money at them. What the hell's money have? You study when you get home, you read a book, or you don't. How much money do you need for that? Why is it always like their schools are underfunded? You need a seat with a desk that's welded to it, and a number 2 pencil, and a little something called gumption. Sorry.
There you go.
Thank you.
Well
you.
said.
Parents, look, I don't want to get on my high horse, but look, if the parents don't give a shit, then it's all over. If the parents care and do the homework and work with the kids, then they'll be fine. Nothing the teachers are going to do.
Well, speaking of shortages, Domino's Pizza is not immune to the staff shortages. So many companies are, they're struggling with these days. So the pizza delivery chain is offering to pay customers to deliver their own pizza.
I saw this.
Yeah, Domino's will now pay you $3.
They give you a tip.
That's
Like,
right,
we'll tip
a
you.
$3 tip
Yeah.
if you place your order online and then come pick it up yourself. It is a tip. It'll be paid in the form of a credit for a future order. The promotion is scheduled to run now through May 22nd, so get ordering.
I'm not going to chance not being able to avoid the Noid.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving my house, picking up a Domino's pizza, knowing full well I'm going to run into this Noid.
Who's going to kill the freshness?
I've seen this Noid. You guys Have you been able to avoid the Noid? This guy doesn't avoid the Noid. He's befriended the Noid. It's an unholy alliance. Hitler and Mussolini, that's you and the Noid. You guys know the Noid?
The 80s campaign from Domino.
You just heard Tale of the Noid? The Noid is our chupacabra.
He looked like
He's
a little
mythical
jester.
character that comes from the
Yeah.
skies and hurts Americans.
And steals the freshness from your pizza.
Hurts their pizzas.
Dennis, have you been able to avoid the Noid in all your years?
I guess I have.
You've
'cause I have
avoided
no
the
idea
Noid.
what you're talking
The
about.
Noid! Listen, how dare you? How dare you people who don't concentrate on commercials with your high hat? Oh, I'm too busy reading in a hot tub to know of what you speak. You guys have seen the Noid 187 times. You've just tuned out the Noid. But you can't avoid the Noid. You turn your back on the Noid, you can close your eyes and pretend we live in a Noidless society.
A Noid void.
I dream of a world where every child is born into a Noidless world. But yet the Noid endures. The Noid, what's the Noid? What isn't the Noid? He's what I see when I look into my children's eyes. He's every cloud that goes overhead.
You don't look in your children's eyes.
You're true. Domino's had the worst campaign since What Can Brown Do For You? UPS.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Or New Coke with Bill Cosby. But they invented a little claymation character called the Noid, and it was a little goblin that screwed up your Domino's pizza delivery, and he went away for 31 years, and inexplicably 2 years ago he came back.
The Domino's Corporation sensed that there was nostalgia for the Noid.
Right.
Perhaps erroneously.
They got it wrong.
Yes, right. The same people that thought it'd be a good idea to reboot Land of the Lost thought the Noid should come back. But the Noid is out there. He's very real. I would tell my kids, you don't do your homework and the Noid's going to get you. And they'd go, get out of my room, old man. And I'd say, good luck avoiding the Noid without your father.
Sleep tight.
So there's no way, while the Noid is running free, am I going out to pick up a Domino's pizza knowing I will encounter the Noid?
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
You've spoken.
Didn't the great Nancy Reagan say, just say Noid?
Yes.
I think she did.
That's what we learned in school, right?
Thank you, Dawson. Dawson got a laugh out of it. All right, let's do one more.
All right. Well,
So wait a minute. You pick up your own pizza.
and they tip you.
Give me $3 towards the
$3.
future pizza.
I don't know if you are you guys with me. I'm in the minority here, but I pick up my own pizzas. If I order a pizza or order some, I go get it because I don't trust the people to bring it to me in a timely fashion. I want it hot. It's up the road. And also I feel like I'm doing something. Like there's a little foreplay. I got to get in the car.
Yeah, but the problem with me getting pizza, the Joe Peeps, in the neighborhood, is it's right next to a CrossFit gym that practices outside. It is
Shaming.
very shaming to go pick up your pizza and garlic knots.
Oh my God! Yeah, you're carb loading,
Yeah.
and they're climbing a rock wall.
That's exactly right. In the parking lot. They all do it outside with the kettlebell.
They know what they're doing.
They know exactly what they're doing.
Dennis, what is your fitness regimen? You're in such amazing shape. And I know it used to just be Coke diet back in the day, but now, what do you do? I mean, he's in incredible shape. It's got to be genetic. Well, I have seen your brother. Maybe it is all hard work.
I'm just vain, that's all.
But I
Don't
mean,
wanna
you
lose
get up and pump iron every morning.
I lift weights, I ride a bicycle, and I do a little like yoga, if you want to call it. But it's mainly, I don't know.
Now it's not diet because
like
I saw
being-
you mow through 4 tacos backstage. But it's where you.
I have a high metabolism.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
And you just get up and throw
Yeah, I
those weights
devour
around.
life.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
with gusto.
With gusto.
And so you
And
get up
grit.
every morning and you work out.
No.
No.
No, I don't. I go months, in fact, without.
Really?
Oh, this is terrible.
Hey, he's 3% body fat. Like
Yeah.
it's sickening. But I went to your house and I saw all the weight. You had the whole weight room and everything over there.
Yeah, that was for show.
Oh, okay. You don't actually use them. Good.
They're styrofoam.
Yeah.
It's all genetics. All right, one more, Gina Grant.
All right. Well, something else you may or may not know about Adam is he and showering.
Oh, there's the Noid,
Oh, that's
by the
the
way.
Noid.
Noid.
That's the Noid.
Oh, we haven't avoided the Noid. He's right
You
there.
must avoid him.
Yes.
Adam and showering haven't always been like the best of friends. And that's another one that you are way ahead of the curve on telling people they shower too much.
Yep.
And you have a solid man in your corner. An 87-year-old man in Iran left doctors stunned when he was shown to be in perfect health despite not having bathed at all since the 1950s.
Oh, my.
Amu Haji, who is no stranger to the news publications around the world because he's known as the world's dirtiest man, has been homeless his entire life, lives in Iran. Not only has he not bathed or showered since around 1955, he also lives on a steady diet of roadkill, dirty water. He smokes dried animal feces in a pipe. He says he chooses not to bathe because he believes soap will make him sick. And doctors ran a slew of tests on him, found no disease-causing bacteria or parasites on his body. The only explanation doctors came up with is that his lifestyle has resulted in a very strong immune system.
See? Something to aspire to.
Feel better?
That's right. He lives off of roadkill.
And he smokes animal feces.
What do they have in Iran for roadkill?
It's a good question.
You know, we
I
have
don't know if it's
possum
like
and maybe a
nutria heavy.
skunk.
Yeah.
What do they got over there running around?
Some
lot of dogs.
Snakes,
Snakes.
Reptile?
You can eat rattlesnake
A lot
meat.
of dog.
dogs. They eat a lot of dog.
A
A lot of
well, there's
dog kill over
dogs
there.
running
A few
around.
Mustang Arabian horses.
Yeah,
maybe.
imagine
Yeah.
the occasional goat gets hit.
Occasional goat. Now, do you think this guy intentionally runs over stuff? Do you think he
I doubt he has a car.
tells an Uber guy to drive through a goat pen so he's feeling peckish?
His Uber rating must be very low.
He smokes animal feces
Yeah.
out of a pipe. He doesn't.
I've never heard of that before.
Can it get you high?
I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't caught on, but you know everything else has.
Yeah.
But
It's true.
Usually roll your own.
Well, you know, the American Indians and the settlers and stuff would use the buffalo chips.
Right, to
It's
build
like-
houses.
It's like coal.
Yeah.
They burn it, right?
Right.
yeah, but they don't smoke it.
Yeah, but anytime you start a fire inside of a teepee,
You're right.
essentially
You're smoking.
smoking whatever's
Yes,
burning.
True. Yeah.
That's what my grandmother said, at least. All right, Gina, let's bring her home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news.
Gina.
That was the news with Gina Grad.
All right, well, bid adieu to Bald Bryan and Gina Grad. And
Thank you.
we'll have Mr. Dennis Quaid step up to the bingo hopper.
Okay.
And we'll have him pull the balls out of there that you guys wrote one word on before the show. Is that correct? It's one single, all right, one or two words on there. And the game is you turn it counterclock,
Turn
whatever.
it away from you.
You
That's
turn
what
it
I
away
heard.
from you, except for they always face it in a
Yeah.
weird direction. But you
That's
turn
okay.
that thing around.
I still
Whatever
get
the
it.
ball says, I should do an improvised comedy bit on it. So go ahead. And Dennis, you jump in anytime.
Okay.
Anytime you like.
Would you like me to turn it?
I would like you to turn it. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Oh, work. That was easy.
All right. It says intelligence. Intelligini.
Intelligence.
No,
Intelligentsia.
artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes.
I know everyone's worried about artificial intelligence.
Or AI.
Or AI, because they're worried about the Chinese and they're going to take over. And we invented, was it called Big Blue? the computer that could beat the chess master at chess.
Yeah, so that
Yes.
wasn't that in the 70s?
Deep
that they had
Blue or
that?
Big Blue or something like
Right.
that. Yeah, so, I used to watch all those movies about the future and artificial intelligence, and the robots are going to be our overlords and we're going to become their slaves and all that. And I used to chalk it up to so much hyperbole. I now believe every word. And I now assume this is our future. And I'm now just looking to kiss up to the robots. Like, you can find me at night talking to my Roomba, going, "You cool? Are we cool? Is everything good? I hope I haven't offended you. Hey, if you'd like to hump my shin like peaches, I'm amenable to that. I understand when you guys take over, half the population's going to be on the roof like a Korean liquor store owner during a riot, but the other half will do your bidding, and that's me. I will be the one." Remember whoever the guy was that turned in Anne Frank? I will be that guy for you robots. I will buddy up from you and go full Benedict Arnold on your ass. Nobody pleases a robot like this fella.
Remind me to never be in a foxhole with you.
No, I will turn my back on you immediately. And you robots are going to need entertainment. And I was considered one of the funnier humans back when the species was thriving. I can curtail my act, you know what I mean, to be a little more robot-centric.
A little bit more artificial.
Yeah.
Artificially intelligent.
Yes,
is that what
yes.
you're saying?
I can be like C-3PO. What a douchebag. Come on. I just know we're all in trouble because, look, the Chinese are just going to do us in, right? Our Alexas are spying on us right now, the computer. They have to bring, all the athletes are going to China. They're bringing burner phones over there. They can't say anything about the government. And also, how sucky is, first things first, I turned on the Olympics 2 nights ago. Curling is what they were featuring.
They always
over
open.
there in China.
They open
curling. With curling. I don't like curling, and it's
I love
boring
curling.
as hey, you take a canned ham and you kick it toward a bullseye, and then the guys out there, by the way,
Sweeping it.
there's no curling shoes. This guy's
They get so excited when they're sweeping, though. It's amazing.
He's wearing loafers that you get with a tux when you rent it, and he's sliding all over the place, and he's feverishly, and it's always a couples
Yeah.
curl.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Is there any?
Isn't the guy who was actually hurling it, isn't he? He's on skates, right?
No, he's on loafers too.
He's on loafers, too.
He does a weird thing where he curtsies, brings
Yeah.
his leg around, slides it in.
Style
I don't know.
points.
Yeah, you can't do that with balls. And I know these guys don't have balls because they're all pee-whipped because their wife's screaming at them, "Get the mop and hit the canned ham, you idiot." Is there any woman you ever been with that you could successfully curl with without a fist fight breaking out within 20 minutes?
I've never dated a curler. I've got
You're not a curler?
No, I never did.
Okay. It's in an empty arena. All right, we've
Let's
done
go to the
AI.
next.
We've done AI. You're right.
Anybody here ever dated a curler?
Any curlers?
No?
This is
Okay.
a Canadian thing.
All right. All
But
right.
let me say this about any Olympic sport. Here's how you know it's not a real sport. If you've had 3 beers and you watch it and you go, "I think I could do that shit." Because you don't watch pole vaulting and go, "Give me one of those bendy sticks." You don't watch you don't watch them do, you ever watch 100-meter hurdles? You don't watch it and go, "Oh man, I could dust those guys. So let me get my underwear. Kick off these flip-flops. Let's smoke that field." But you watch curling and you go, "I think if I had a buzz, I could pull that off."
Water polo.
Yeah, not that.
Okay. Wells.
Well, there's Orson Welles, there's H.G. Wells,
There's dig a wells.
there's digging wells. I like digging a well. That's a kind of rich man, poor man thing. If you're
There's a
living
Ronald
off
Reagan
of well,
well.
is there well? Oh, there's the
Well,
Ronald
yes,
Reagan. Yeah,
well.
give us a clean well.
Well.
Oh, wow. Did he do a lot of wells, or was
Well, yes.
that's not.
It was a way of giving yourself time to think.
Uh-huh.
Well, let me say this about that.
It's basically it's like when the athlete goes, you know what I'm saying? No, we don't. You just bought yourself 4 seconds to think of something to say. That's the white man. That's the black man's well.
Well, yes.
That's right. So he would buy himself a little bit of time
Yes.
with that pause.
Signature.
Did you hear that? Did you read that? Was it discussed, or do you just is a finely tuned thespian? Did you pick that up?
It's my personal opinion, I have to say. Yeah. But it's.
I'll tell you.
that.
Speaking of wells,
Mine is.
yeah,
Which, and well, is much better.
yeah. Mine's who farted. All right. Anyway, I want to raise a toast. That'll buy you like 18 seconds. The well. I'll tell you what this country needs right now, because it is very divided and a lot of vitriol, a lot of acrimony. We need a 3-year-old who's trapped in a well, because every 22 years a kid falls down a well and it unites us. We come together like Velcro as a country. Oh, you have your baby Jessica, when she fell in that well. And look, this country needs a child in a well. And the chances in modern times of a child falling in a well is slim to none. Somebody's going to have to sacrifice their child in the name of humanity.
The problem with that is they fixed that problem. The kids don't fall down wells.
Well, that's why one of you great Americans is going to have to throw either your child or grandchild down a well. Because next thing you know, you got Ted Cruz and AOC, and they both are sending tweets together about getting the little baby Jessica out of that well. Nothing unites like a kid in a well. Does somebody have a grandchild between the ages of 2 and 7 who they don't like, or is a little bit slow, or maybe just mouthy, or maybe you notice like your change is always missing when he comes to visit, and he ate a whole tray of brownies right to his head? Is there anybody, any American, that has just a 4 or 5-year-old grandchild who they wouldn't miss? And nothing.
Actually, I think it's CNN that could use Baby Jessica.
CNN.
Now,
Oh,
anybody.
Because
that made CNN. Actually, it was their coverage. They stayed
Really?
on 24/7.
24/7.
First time.
Put a bird in the air.
Yeah.
We have the local police. We cordon it off. By the way, why does it take 3 days to get a kid out of a well? I feel like we're one 18-foot ladder away. Is there not a Home Depot in the vicinity? You need one of those extension ladders, kid out of well. No? Don't you guys agree this was a better country when kids were in wells? Somebody's going to have to offer up a
Hey, Lassie,
grandchild.
where's Timmy? What? He
What?
fell down a well.
Fell down the well.
Yeah, right.
All right, let's do it. CNN can get the ratings out of the tank.
Okay.
And we will reunite.
Oh, lost
Reunite.
one there. I'm a little aggressive with my. Okay, Egypt.
Egypt.
Yes.
I don't know a lot about it. I do know they have pyramids. I do like the idea. I was thinking about this. You know how they surmise that the Egyptians got light to the middle of the pyramids? You know what the theory is? How they did it? You know. I'll give you a hint. It's not one of those clamp-on ones where the batteries last 2 hours. I like those infomercials, though, where the guy goes up to the attic and he can't see his hand in front of his face, and then he gets the clapper that sticks onto the roof.
Yeah.
Bell and Howell. Who makes those things? They make sunglasses, make you look like a hawk. All right. The
Now
point
we have
is
cell phones with
yeah, we got lights.
Yeah,
All
the
right. The
flashlights.
point is they...
I think it was
thought-
the summer equinox, right? When at noon it comes down.
They theorized that they use mirrors to bounce lights and get light moved toward the center of the pyramid. And I was talking to a guy who worked for Department of Transportation, and I like cars. Are you a car guy, Dennis?
I love cars.
All the great Americans love cars. You got Ronnie's Jeep out there. If anyone wants to go for a spin after the show, Dennis is going to be riding up there. He'll show for you. But the point is this. All right, here's what I was thinking. You got to think about this. Whenever they build a modern supercar, they don't, on the prototype, they don't put the mirrors on the outside because the mirrors are big and bulbous and bulky and they can't cheat the wind at 250 miles an hour, and they always do that. But instead, they have these really cool mini cameras, and the camera will come up on the display of the rear view, or it'll come up on the touchscreen or whatever. And whenever I talk to the designer, they go, yeah, but when we actually build the car, we're going to have to put the big bulky mirrors back onto the outside. A mirror. And I go, why do you need mirrors outside of your car in 2022 when we have all these cameras all around the car and a heads-up display that could be... And they go, because the Department of Transportation mandates that we have to put this big bulky mirror on both sides, otherwise they won't federally, exempt the car, they won't green light the car. And I always go, the mirrors on a Bugatti. The same mirrors that we use to get light to the center of the pyramid, thousands of years later, because these overficious regulating jerks can't get outside of themselves and realize that we have the technology, but no, we have to stick this on the outside of every supercar. And don't get me started on the front license plate. The aerodynamic coefficiency of putting that big square flatbread box on the front of your super streamlined Corvette and ruining the line and ruining the aesthetic. And I guarantee, if you put that thing in a wind tunnel, you know that movie they put it in the wind tunnel and they take that stick that shoots smoke out of it? I want one of those, by the way. And they do that thing, and you see the smoke going around. You put the front license plate on that, the car turns over. Look it up. It's on YouTube. I do love that. I do love that we live in a state where you will get pulled over for no front license plate. But if you'd like to defecate on a sidewalk or park your RV in Venice Beach and live in front of some taxpayer's house who paid $3.7 million for their house, or you'd like to just push your modified shopping cart with a propane tank on it and sell hot dogs out in front of the SoFi, that's all fine. No problema. Do not get in your Camry and attempt to go down the street without the license plate. That's where the man puts his foot down.
That's called the DMV.
You would like to make your own mayonnaise in your bathtub and slather it all over a dog you got off a salmonella train. That'll be between you and your Lord. But you like to go around the block with no front license plate. That's when the man intervenes. All right, let's do one more. Yes, powerful.
If we get you started on Egypt, I
Powerful.
can't believe where
Oh,
you
that
can
was
go.
Egypt. Oh.
Yes, that was Egypt.
I like the idea that they shot the nose off the Sphinx, right? The Sphinx.
Who did that?
The French. I think the French.
Was it Alexander the Great? Was it the French? Who was that?
The French. Somebody can look it up on their phone, but I think somebody shot the nose off the Sphinx. One more reason to hate the French. You know?
It's a slap in the face.
By the way, if I was like, if the French said to me, we shot the nose off the Sphinx, I'd be like, I didn't know you guys could hit anything with a rifle.
They were aiming for the pyramid.
Yeah, why don't you aim a few at a Nazi next time? Try moving target. Instead of stuff made of sand. Nobody kills giant cats made of sand like the French. Oh, sure, not so effective when it comes to Nazis or Italians, but you got a tabby made of sand. The French are your people. You got a problem with a cat made of sand? Huh?
Have no problem.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Not the problem.
Germans, not so much. NATO, maybe not so much. But if you got a cat carved of sand, what is it? What is the Sphinx?
So one tale erroneously attributes it to cannonballs fired by the army of Napoleon.
Oh, man.
There you go.
But it is said that the loss of the nose is due to Muhammad Saim al-Dar, a Sufi Muslim, who found the local peasants making offerings to the Sphinx in the hopes of increasing their harvest, and therefore he defaced it in an act of iconoclasm.
No, I like my Napoleon French argument better. And what's the Sphinx? Is that a giant cat made out of sand?
It appears to have paws, but it's the face of a
It's half lion,
like a
half man, correct?
Yeah, there you
Yes.
go. Yeah.
Half lion, half
Right.
man? All right, one more.
Okay. The word is minimum.
Minimum?
Minimum, without the
Minimum.
Yes.
All right. We got the minimum
wage.
minimum wage.
Yeah.
I don't like the notion of a minimum wage. Just go out and earn what you're worth. And by the way, when people do this stuff all the time, how's this mother of 7 supposed to get by on $13 an hour? You're not, bitch. Stop crapping out kids. You can't work at a Taco Bell and be a very successful single parent with 7 kids. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to work at Taco Bell when you're 15 and a half, not when you're 39 and a half. So no, you're not supposed to live comfortably on minimum wage. And by the way, it's called the minimum wage. It is the minimum. You will always make the least in society, and that'll be the ground floor for whatever inflation there is. You will always make the least, and that'll be it. And we can keep ratcheting it up. But look, when I worked at McDonald's in 1979, 1980, minimum wage was $2.35 an hour, and then gas was $1 a gallon. And now gas is $5.50, and minimum wage has gone up 4.5. You're still poor, bitch. It's all the same. It just creeps up, and you're making the least possible. I don't like the notion. And by the way, if you work at a Taco Bell and you're in your 30s, I don't want you to be comfortable. I want you to be miserable.
And they still took the taxes out. You got that refund check at the end of the year.
Oh, right? I got that.
Yeah.
They took
it was
the taxes
$1.50
out.
when I was
punching, when I would punch into the McDonald's, they'd say I'd go to punch in when I came around the back, the time card, and they go, no, go get dressed in your polyester gi, then come back, then punch in.
You worked at McDonald's?
Yes.
That's why you go pick up your pizza.
That's right.
You want to reminisce.
No, I just don't want the meth head casing my house. But now there's this whole Noid, so I have to deal with that. Yes, the minimum wage. And listen, everyone always does this thing. They go, what's the minimum wage? What should the minimum wage be? The minimum wage is decided. It doesn't need to be mandated. We need no government intervention when it comes to the minimum wage. I've said this a million times, but really think about this. Thought experiment. Go to the Home Depot. They have the day laborers hanging out. Go to them and go, I need to pick up a couple guys. I want to demo out a cinder block wall. And then go, I'll give you all $3 an hour. They go, F you, gringo. If you say, I'll give you $50 an hour, they'll all dive into the bed of the truck. The minimum wage, the correct wage is settled sort of by nature, by them and you. You can't go to the Home Depot and offer those guys $12. They won't do it. 30 is too much. The price is between the two of you. We don't need the government to intervene to get between me and the guy who I would like to work at my house or work at my Taco Bell or my restaurant or my hotel. We don't need that. And this notion that people have no agency, you know what I mean? Like, you want these guys to work for slave labor and slave dollars? No, you don't have to take the job. You don't have to work at a hotel for $129 an hour. You don't have to do it. Quit. Get a better job. God forbid, get some vocational training. Get a job and fight to keep it. That's Dennis Quaid, everybody.
Wow, well spoken.
It's powerful. All right. I want to thank Dennis. Dennis, I feel like, what plugs can we give you?
Well, I don't need a plug. I get plenty of plugs.
You got plenty of plugs?
We already plugged Ronald Reagan.
All right.
Yeah.
Peaches gave me a plug backstage.
Boy, Peaches would love. She'd love a replay on that one too, Adam.
Well,
She's back there waiting for when you come off stage.
I'll get out my shin warmer and we'll go to town.
I'm gonna feed her, and then you know what's gonna happen.
Oh no, I'm not into that. All right. So until next time, it's Adam Carolla for Brian Bishop, Bald Bryan and Gina Grad and Dennis Quaid saying mahalo.
I mean, you can do that with the Rams rag.
Right.
You do that with the terrible towel.
Right.
Now there's a whole nother can of worms you just opened.
Right.
Now,
Or whoop ass.
Cope holds up the terrible towel and he says, the terrible towel is poised to strike, and so are the Steelers. Let's get him! He didn't say a goddamn thing about the Rams or anyone else. Come up with your own shtick.